a stunning fall from the spotlight. Sean "Diddy" Combs, a household name in music, fashion, and entertainment, is now behind bars, waiting for his sentence after one of the most talked-about celebrity trials in recent memory. With a career that once defined an era and a lifestyle marked by luxury and influence, the verdict has shaken fans and shocked the industry. After 8 weeks in court and 34 witnesses taking the stand, the jury reached a verdict: guilty on 2 of 5 federal charges involving the unlawful transportation of individuals. The more serious accusations? He was found not guilty. But that partial victory wasn't enough to secure his release. A federal judge denied Combs' request for bail. His next stop, sentencing on October 3rd, where he could face up to 20 years in prison. So how did this all unfold? How did a man known for building musical empires and launching the careers of global superstars end up awaiting sentencing in a Brooklyn detention center? Let's dive into the timeline, the courtroom drama, and the fallout from a case that could define the final chapter of Combs' legacy. The rise before the fall. Before we dive into the trial, it's important to remember just how massive Sean Combs once was. Under stage names like Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, and just Diddy, he transformed the music landscape in the 90s and early 2000s. He founded Bad Boy Records, signed artists like the Notorious B.I.G., and helped turn hip-hop into a global force. Later, he launched clothing brands, reality shows, and luxury products. Combs wasn't just a musician, he was a brand. But with great success came intense attention. Rumors, lawsuits, and headlines had surrounded Combs over the years, but none ever reached this level. It wasn't until recent developments and a high-profile investigation that things took a serious legal turn. The trial, which lasted 2 full months, gave the public a rare window into Combs' personal and professional life. Over 30 people testified, including 2 of his former partners, well-known celebrities, staff members, and others who had been part of his inner circle. CASSIE Ventura, a longtime partner and singer, was among the first to testify. Another woman, referred to as Jane for privacy, also shared her account. Their testimonies weren't easy to hear. They described emotional and complicated relationships that painted a less glamorous image than what the public once saw on magazine covers. Several other individuals, including musicians and people who had worked in Combs' professional life, from assistants to hotel staff, offered their own insights. Some mentioned pressure and tension, while others hinted at a high-speed lifestyle filled with unpredictable moments. Throughout it all, the defense emphasized that Combs had certainly made mistakes in the past, but they argued those mistakes were personal, not criminal. They claimed he never intended to break federal laws and that the case had been exaggerated. Sean Combs was charged with 5 serious federal offenses. At the center were 2 charges under the Mann Act, a law passed in 1910, originally aimed at preventing harmful interstate activities. In this case, the charges were about transporting individuals across state lines for unlawful reasons. The jury found Combs guilty on both Mann Act counts, which are serious federal offenses carrying a potential 10-year sentence each. The other 3 charges, which included more severe allegations involving organized illegal behavior, did not result in a conviction. The jury decided there wasn't enough evidence to find him guilty on those. The verdict created a split reaction. The 2 guilty counts were still enough to keep him behind bars. After the verdict, Combs' legal team quickly requested bail. They proposed restrictions, including GPS monitoring, drug testing, and the surrender of his passport. They also noted that Combs had voluntarily participated in personal development programs before his arrest, suggesting he was working to improve himself. But the judge didn't agree. He pointed to Combs' history, especially the defense's own words during the trial, where they acknowledged personal challenges in his relationships. The judge said that while the court respects the jury's decision, it was still impossible to ignore the potential risk of releasing Combs. With bail denied, Combs will remain in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center until his sentencing on October 3rd. Each of his 2 convictions carries up to 10 years in federal prison, totaling a potential 20-year sentence. But how much time will he actually serve? Legal experts say it's unlikely Combs will receive the full 20 years. Since both charges are similar, there's a strong chance they'll be served at the same time, not back-to-back. That could reduce the sentence to around 2 years, depending on what the judge decides. Plus, Combs has already been in custody since September 2024. That time will count toward his total sentence. If he's had good behavior and meets federal guidelines, his sentence could be reduced even further with good time credit. Still, this depends entirely on the judge, who will weigh the case details, Combs' record, and a pre-sentencing report prepared by probation officers. Beyond the verdict, a wave of civil lawsuits. Even after sentencing, Sean Combs won't be done with courtrooms. Across the United States, over 150 civil lawsuits have been filed against him, according to attorney Tony Busby. These lawsuits are not part of the criminal case and involve a wide range of claims from individuals who were not part of the federal trial. Because civil lawsuits are handled separately, they won't affect Combs' jail time, but they can lead to large financial penalties, damage to reputation, and years of legal battles. Some of the cases date back decades. Others are more recent. And while Combs has denied the claims, the growing number of legal challenges means his attention will remain divided even after the criminal process ends. It also means this story is far from over, and new headlines could surface long after sentencing. A family under pressure. Throughout the trial, Combs' family stood by his side. His mother, Janice, and several of his children were seen in the courtroom nearly every day. They sat quietly, often avoiding the press and staying out of the spotlight. After the verdict was read and bail was denied, they quietly exited the courthouse, some holding hands, others looking shaken. The defense noted that Combs plays a central role in caring for his family. They argued that his presence at home was important for his children and aging mother. While the court acknowledged this, it wasn't enough to change the outcome. This case hasn't just affected Sean Combs. It has impacted those closest to him, family members, friends, and longtime collaborators, many of whom now face a new reality about someone they thought they knew. At his peak, Sean Combs wasn't just making hit records, he was reshaping pop culture. He helped build a generation of stars, led major business deals, and expanded hip-hop into fashion, television, and international markets. Today, all of that is in question. The trial, the conviction, and the upcoming sentencing have left many fans uncertain about what to think. Some argue that achievements in music can't be erased. Others say that accountability is more important than celebrity status. Brands have distanced themselves. Projects have stalled. And streaming numbers, once a source of pride, now carry a very different weight. This isn't the first time a public figure has faced a major fall, but it might be one of the most dramatic in recent entertainment history. Whether or not Combs can rebuild his name remains to be seen. For now, his legacy is paused, caught between courtroom decisions and public opinion. Combs' case is about more than just one person. It's part of a broader conversation about accountability, fairness, and the responsibilities that come with power. It reminds us that fame can elevate, but it doesn't excuse behavior. That no matter how successful someone is, the same laws still apply. And that personal choices, even if made years ago, can eventually come full circle. This trial also sparked debates about justice, the legal system, and how the public treats celebrities in moments of controversy. Supporters and critics alike have used the case to discuss everything from redemption to personal responsibility.